everybody? It's Bets checking back in. We have our Week 10 top plays and stacks video coming your way. We have a slate here that we actually, I think, have a ton of value in on the running back position, on the tight end position, and we love game stacking this slate. So I'll have 3 game stacks for you guys, and then I'll have top plays at each position that we'll go through. So if you like what you're seeing here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and then leave a comment below on who you guys are on yourselves this week. So love to hear from you guys. Also, every Sunday morning, live Twitch show on the dot. We have our free props, bets, and DFS pretty much confirmation. I'll show you a couple of ideas that I ended up going with beforehand. If you have any last minute questions before the slate starts, check me out every Sunday morning at 10:30. Also, hit up our guys at Occupy Fantasy. If you guys have any, in need of a lineup optimizer, and any other ideas when it comes to DFS, those guys absolutely are killing it. And then also match bets, head-to-head sports wagering. Use code DB100 to get a 100% sign-up bonus. Both of those links are in the description below. And without further ado, let's go. All right, so let's check out our top stacks of the week and dive into them. If you are new to the channel, appreciate you tuning in. When we describe our game stacks, it's basically taking 3 from one side of the game, and then you're going to run it back with a pass catcher from the opposite side. So for in this instance, our first game we love this week is the Chargers versus the Vikings. And we have, so if we wanted to go the 3-by-1 Chargers side, we would go Herbert. Then you could either go, Eckler, or you can either go the tight ends or the two receivers or 3 receivers. So you could go Mikey Williams and Keenan Allen, and then you come back with a Dalvin Cook, or you can come back with Justin Jefferson or Adam Thielen. In this instance, we'll just do Jefferson. So we would free up our running back position because, as you'll see, we are going to probably have only one other position available at the running back position, as we have a couple lock button options this week. But the 3-by-1 here, you can flip it to the Viking side. This is the game stack, so we can stack both sides of this particular game. We like how it's suiting up to be a shootout here. Cousins, then you could go Cook, but in this instance, we'll go Jefferson and Thielen, and then you come back with Mike Williams or Keenan Allen. So, somewhat expensive game stack. I wouldn't say it's the most expensive like a Mahomes, how it used to. We've been doing in the past, and more expensive games, but this one frees up a little bit of a salary. You're gonna be okay because of the running back position that we're going in. So the second game stack of the week, I'll clear that real quick. We are gonna go to Dallas, and we're gonna go Dallas, Atlanta. And it's not going to be like last week for Dallas. I don't believe we're going to see something along those lines ever again this season. That was a fluke performance. But so a lot of firepower, especially on the Dallas side. But I like the concentrated target volumes for this Falcons offense. Ryan, so if we go Ryan here, Cordell Patterson is going to be a must play because he's going to be he's basically a receiver. And then you got, Pitts as well. So Pitts sits there. If you want to go a cheaper wide receiver, you can go, Gage, Zacchaeus, and Tajay Sharp. If you want to get completely different. However, when we are game stacking, we are already being different from the field. The entire field, if you're playing 100,000 people, like less than 1% people, less than 1% in that contest will be game stacking a 3-by-1. You're going to see 2-0s, you're going to see 3-0s, you're going to see 2-by-1s, but a full-on 3-by-1, it's definitely going to be different to begin with. So I'm okay with being pretty chalky in my game stacks. then you could bring that back with CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper, either one there. And then if you go the opposite side, you can go Dak, then you have Lamb, Cooper, and then you come back with either Patterson or Kyle Pitts. So it's got different options that you can go with on those two. And then the third one is not going to be a full-on game stack. But this is one stack that I just have not been playing a bunch of, and I think it's been biting me this year. I do like the Tampa Bay side 3-by-1 against this football team. So I'm going to trust in Brady off of a bye here. So Brady, and then you can either go Fournette. We have to consider Godwin's injury. I don't think he's practiced all week. Barring him playing, you're going to put him in there. But I'm going to base it off of him not playing. So you're going to have a lot of Brady, Fournette, and Evans builds, and then you're going to have a bunch of value here. So like Ty Johnson's going to be a very, very intriguing option. Not Humphreys. There's one more person. Darden, he's going to have to come up as well. I know he hasn't done much this entire season, but people are going to be available if Godwin misses time. I know Antonio Brown probably isn't going to play. Obviously, if one of these two suit up, Godwin or Brown, that's the other guy that you would throw in with Mikey Evans. Other than that, you can go Fournette or you could go Gio Bernard as well. And then you could run it back. So I don't like to game stack the football team side of this just because I just don't trust Heineke that much. So I'm fading him in this matchup, being a 9-point dog. And you got Scary Terry to come back with on the football team side. And then you have some value wide receivers as well, De'Ami Brown, Carter, and Humphreys. But then if Logan Thomas is back, he's been practicing, so to keep an eye on him. Or you can go Seals Jones. So a bunch of value here on the bring back. Probably if I'm going to game stack this game, I'm going to have McLaurin coming on the way back. And there is one more option that I'm just not set in stone with. Check it out on Sunday or join the free Discord below. It's the Green Bay Seattle game. Just because we don't know if Rodgers or Russell is going to be playing, so I am just cautious in this game. However, if they do end up playing, I might have a little bit of exposure in that game. All right, so let's dive into some top plays at each position. For the quarterback position, so all of our top plays will come from our game stacking. But if you do not like any of the other game stacks that I've thrown out to you, you can go with these three guys. Josh Allen, number one in my book here, outside of the game stacks. He just missed being a 3-by-1 against this Jets team. Just plain and simple, I just think it's going to be a bloodbath. I just don't know if it's going to be too competitive, and Singletary might have too much run. But the Bills, having scuffled the last couple of weeks, I do expect them to have an okay output as well. But you can definitely run Josh Allen with a couple of his guys as well if you do mind the game stack. And then Mr. Reliable, Jalen Hurts, another candidate. He was 20 plus in like the first 8 weeks or 7 weeks, and now he's had two below 20. But I'd still like him this week against the Denver Broncos, even though they had a good performance last week against Dak. I think Hurts can get a little bit more mobile on him and run a little bit better. The other one is the following quarterback in that game is Teddy Bridgewater. Surprised a lot of people last week. Is very, very efficient. Man, it's a toss-up really because I really like all the quarterbacks in the game stacks. But if you need a third option behind Allen Hurts, Bridgewater's your guy for sure. And then the most interesting position on the slate is the running back position, and it all comes down to a couple of injuries, a couple of COVID tests. So it's going to be Dierness Johnson. So if you have held on to him in regular fantasy, you've hopefully still got him on your team, and you've come through with a lock button running back here. So you got Dierness Johnson, who's at $4,700, potentially there with no Nick Chubb, no Kareem Hunt, and no Felton. So you got those three guys missing. He's going to be the lead back in one of the best running offenses in the entire league. And you saw what he could do on that, I think it was Thursday night game. He looked phenomenal. So easy lock button decision, 4,700. And there's another one that could potentially be in this game as well. So that is Brandon Bolden. So Harris and Stevenson came out of the game with concussions. They're still in concussion protocol. And then Bolden had a bunch of run in the pass game, and he had 8 attempts. He is the next man up. Him and J.J. Taylor will end up forming a committee, but $4,400, and you could do that one-by-one stack along with your game stacks, and then you only have to fill a couple other potential spots this week. Very, very easy to build if you trust Brandon Bolden here. I'm 100% if Chubb and Felton are out, Dierness Johnson is my lock button. So lock button back. There's no ifs, ands, or but in my opinion. Other guys that I would like that are a little bit more expensive than those guys. Naji Harris. I know he came up on the injury report with a foot injury. I think he's fine. Just a little bit more maintenance, but no one has the volume anymore because Derrick Henry is gone on the injury list. You have Naji Harris being the number one workhorse back in the league against the best matchup in the Detroit Lions. So Naji, throw him in there as well. And then you have another situation. Sorry, I haven't mentioned this as well. So Kamara being out, potentially being out with a knee injury. It would be Mark Ingram filling in, and he would end up being the back to throw in there. I wouldn't necessarily say he's the lock button back because I do believe Taysom Hill is back this week, and you're going to see a lot of gadget plays out of them. This is going to be a weird, tricky game, and I don't necessarily trust this game. That's why I didn't go to the game stack with it. But this is another name and another guy to look at. Watch Kamara's injury report throughout the week. And then Taylor has been absolutely insane this year. Probably the number one running back. Priced up significantly at $8,100. So just be wary. You're going to be able to get him in your lineups with the lock button running back in Dierness. And then finally, the cover boy, Dalvin Cook, obviously, because they're going to be in the game stacks. You got Eckler and Dalvin. I love both of those guys this week. You're going to have a lot of usage out of the backfield there, a lot of screen plays, and priced up accordingly. I just wish they would have kept going to him this past weekend. He had like 90 yards in the first quarter, and he only ended up with like 110. So look for Dalvin Cook to keep exploding as he gets a little bit more healthy throughout the weeks. Wide receiver, number one. So these are all in the game stack as well. So if I'm stacking Chargers, Minnesota game, those wide receivers are ahead of any of these guys. So, but the next one up is to put in like wide receiver 3 or in your flex spots. I like AJ Brown a lot this week. His target share, especially because Julio just came up on the injury report again. He had a setback with his hamstring. He's going to be the number one receiver once again with no competition, and he's going to get double-digit targets. A.J. Brown at $7,800 is a no-brainer. Then you also have Stephon Diggs as well with the way he's going with Josh Allen. Can definitely get it with 8, 7, and 11 targets. He is just a guy that you're going to you know what you're getting out of Stephon Diggs, and he hasn't had that one big explosion game. Is that this week? I hope so, because I'll be rostering him in a few lineups for sure. And then guy who's came out of the second year man at Indy, Michael Pittman. He has dominated the target share in Indy, and he is still mildly priced at $6,300. He should be with his target share closer to the 7,000 range, so I think you're getting pretty good value here with Pittman. I know Hilton's back, but he just is not going to eat into his target share whatsoever. Pittman is the guy there. And I'm not looking at too many cheap wide receivers because I have so much value in the running back position, so I'm going to keep it up top. Mainly probably 5,000 and above. That's probably where I'm going to be at, unless somebody pops up on the injury list and I get some good value at wide receiver. I'm going to pay up at wide receiver this week. Tight ends, so Pitts will be in the player pool. Then you also have a couple other guys that are, Schultz will be in the player pool. The guys that are not in the player pool or the game stack player pool, we have Hawkinson, who has been dominant these last couple weeks. I know he had a couple duds, but he's gotten 11, 9, and 11 targets the last 3 weeks. No brainer play against the Steelers defense. You're going to have a lot of checkdowns. He's going to get targeted. He had 10 receptions last week, so he's going to have a buttload of usage there. And then guy everybody was on last week in the industry, and he just his price has not gone up whatsoever. Don't know why. Dan Arnold, he only went up $100, and he's gotten 10 targets and 7 targets last 2 weeks. So just keep pounding him in your lineups, $3,500, and you know exactly what you're going to get. Trevor Lawrence, a little bit more banged up, so he's not going to scramble as much. So you have checkdowns to Dan Arnold all day long. I was going to say Freiermuth. However, I'm going to see what the dynamic is with Ebron coming back, so I'm hesitant to put him in the player pool. The other guy who's coming off of IR is Dawson Knox. So a couple bills that you can kind of throw in there if you end up wanting to do a game stack with them. I would not tell you no, but I do like Dawson Knox coming back. He was the tight end darling coming through early on in the season. Broke his finger or broke his hand. Coming back, and he should be right into that role. Sweeney did nothing, so he should be fine. And look for Noah Fant coming back from the COVID list. If he's good to go, he's got a really good matchup against the Eagles. So if you liked any of the plays, let me know in the comments. If you are on somebody else, let me know in the comments as well. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Always join the free Discord below, and you get access to, we have about 140 members now, so we are moving right along in there, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. So let's catch this week.